Yeah, last year I laid back because I thought there was going to be a big wreck. Because I've been in every fucking wreck. I've been in every next-gen super speedway wreck. And it's driving me crazy where I went through 10 years where I'm up front in the Gen 6 car making moves and like the wrecks are behind me because that's where the dummies are.
The following is a production of Dirty Mo Media.
Hey guys, welcome to Actions Detrimental post the regular season finale at Daytona. I'm Denny Hamlin, driver of the King's Hawaiian. Oh, do you have your socks on?
I wore them last night. They were all sweaty.
King's Hawaiian Toyota.
And I should have had my shirt, but it was left at the track.
There was a pair of King's Hawaiian 11 socks that were pretty fire.
They are nice and they're comfy.
You wore them pretty much when you were out there running the fence line or something?
I put them on before the race. Tried to bring you some good luck.
My luck was horrible, right?
Luckiest man in Daytona this weekend.
The pro fisherman guy said, I said, listen, just tell me if you see me doing something or my bait is not correct, just let me know. But I feel like I'm getting unlucky. And he's like, oh, you're unlucky. Put it this way. Bubba was dragging his line in the water and we had to say, hey, you got a fish on. You have a fish on. Oh, okay. even saw a bird catch a fish. Couldn't. That's bad. I caught a few, just couldn't bring them in. Got them on the line.
You didn't catch them then?
No, you're right. So that was most of the content that was on my social channel this weekend.
A lot of little fishes by the guys being caught and acting like they caught like record-breaking fish.
They were smaller than what we anticipated for sure, and I think possibly my bait was slightly too big for that pond.
Apparently,
in retrospect,
last year in the Daytona fishing tournament, Owen Larson caught the biggest fish in
like 4 pounds.
It was like
or
4 pounds.
That's big.
That's big?
Absolutely. For a bass. Yeah, that's a big bass.
Hey, but shout out King's Hawaiian. All the influencers they bring to the track, the activation they have.
Yes.
Their luck
on
track on the 11 car hasn't been great this year.
Horrible. They wrecked right in front of me. And I told them during my suite appearances, like, they'll wreck right here. That's exactly where I wrecked, is right there.
They asked you where they'd see the most action, and you said the tri-oval. But then the last question in that Q&A, you were asked, what's the one thing in your career right now that gets you the most? And you said the fact that you can't control your own destiny.
The luck factor involved in our sport, absolutely.
It sucks because that King's Hawaiian car, it's easy to spot watching TV. I love when you have that car.
Yeah. I thought maybe me and Brad were going to be twinning because our cars were both orange, but I think they were different, right? Different enough.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is for the King's Hawaiian folks who have amazing rolls, by the way, we got a whole batch. We just got a new Instacart order upstairs full of them. Is they're going to be on at Bristol and Martinsville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they kind of got the bad draw or the unlucky draw. I mean, it could have gone both ways with the super speedways, but certainly just not ideal. In the first stage of both of those races, we ended up crashed. I mean, my record at Daytona, guys, has been horrible. Horrible. I just stop racing and just wait on the field to thin? Because that's what, to me, watching the race from about 50 car lengths behind for most of the time, it seemed like the race, and we've talked about it on this podcast before, it really took a turn when the field thinned out. There was more room to move. Blaney coming from 12th in the final couple laps, he had room to navigate. That's what's so great about the Xfinity cars and the Xfinity packages. If you look, there's space between the cars. They're not right on each other all the way around the racetrack. Where a lot of times the next gen, we just get log jammed in this 2 or 3 wide. racing. It looks good, but you can't really go anywhere. But at the end of the race, there was enough chaos up front, enough air moving around where it created some good passing, and it looked like a very entertaining race from my seat.
Yeah, that was my argument in the Denny Bros group chat midway through last night. I told Travis, I said, they're not going to wreck again. You've wrecked once. You've knocked out what felt like 10 cars. The field, the pack it's too thin.
Yeah.
Unless someone does something stupid or makes some chaotic move.
There was many other one-car incidences that could have been, when you got the leader wreck, it's usually hard for that to be the only car that ends up wrecking. That was Logano down to the grass in the infield. So, that could have easily, all you got to do is clip one more car, and then there goes everyone. So.
Yeah, and Eric Jones got pushed out of line on the backstretch. He could have tagged the wall and come back down and hit the field.
Yeah. Now, trust me, I was rooting for all the chaos at that point once we had damage. And, I thought we were going to be okay. I had some right front damage, but the steering wasn't totally out of whack. Once they replaced the right front toe link, it was better. It drove okay in the corners, and the speed was fine. And then it just went downhill. It just felt like, the more we worked on it, the worse it got, and started blowing tires, and just was not a great day for us, yellow line to yellow line.
How does that work here at super speedways? Like the Tyler Reddick incident early in the race, he head first into the inside wall, and you would have thought, okay, his day's over. But they're able to get the car back out on track, and then he's able to run in the pack competitively.
Yeah, so with the Tyler Reddick thing, he nosed into the inside wall. So the key is to not hit tires and wheels. That's when you start messing up suspension, and next thing you know, your wheels are not pointed in the straight direction. So if you can manage it to side hits and front hits or back hits, you're usually okay. As long the front's probably the most susceptible to knocking you out of the race, because there's some pretty important things up there. But it just, when you kind of hit it square right there, yes, it damages the nose and whatnot. But when you get in the pack, the air and the draft is so big behind 25, 30 cars that usually you can keep pace because they're punching the hole in the air. Now, if he were to ever have to lead a pack or something, his car would never be able to do it. It's just, it would be so slow. But he can hide in the pack, if that makes any sense, because of the damage he has. Just all the other cars create a big hole in the air, and he's just hiding in that hole, if that makes any sense.
So that would have been the same situation for you had you been able to make it a little bit better.
That's right. Yeah, and, we're just kind of right on the cusp there where, my car was... It was better right after the wreck than it was at the end of the race, for whatever reasons. But yeah, it was fast enough to be in the pack. But I didn't want to be in the pack and then get caught in a wreck, and next thing you know, I can't get the lucky dog. So it was a fine balance for me of let me hold touch here, but I don't want to get too close to the pack, but I don't want to lose the pack and go another lap down. And luckily, I pretty much had Casey Mears behind me the whole race, keeping me somewhat attached to the pack.
Did you think that there was going to be another major incident?
I thought so. I thought certainly was Logano the 8 to go?
Yeah, he was at the end of the race, yeah.
Yeah. Was it him or me? It was him.
You were first.
Yeah.
Right, Travis?
I thought when we had the Logano caution with 8 to go, I thought that was now it's the recipe, because everyone now can make it on fuel.
They're bunched up.
It's just going to be chaos. And it was, but they got away with it. And, rarely do you see, honestly, that many cars cross the finish line in the late summer Daytona race, but they did. They made it.
Let's go back to that wreck on what lap was it? The big one that you were caught in with Bubba and Logano. Who's at fault here? What do you see in this wreck? Can you break this down for us?
It looked like to me that Bubba just squeezed those two guys below him down. I don't, you could just see like they're there, two cars on the inside. I don't know what Freddie was calling. Maybe he was saying 3 wide top or not. I'm not sure. But he just squeezed on down there and there was no room. And so he ended up getting, wrecking himself and obviously, a few others.
Could he have gotten a little shot here from the 5 against squirrely or?
I mean, I'm looking at it and I don't think so. I mean, the 5 was already on him close, but no, that's just a 23 not clear. It's just one of those not clear moments.
What's going through your mind? Because you're up against the wall, so there's not a whole lot you can do.
I mean, you're just hoping you don't get hit in a wheel or tire. And, my body damage was insignificant. There was some, but it wasn't terrible until we kept blowing those right front tires. And, I don't know. We did, we had the toe link that we had to fix. But once we did that, my car was driving okay. It was a little, little darty down the straightaways and whatnot, but it was fine. At that point, what I'm thinking is, nobody come back up the track. But of course, cars are going to come up the track. But I can't turn left because then I would just door whoever's beside me and then likely nose into somewhere else. So at that point, I'm just trying to slow down and make the contact at the slowest mile per hour possible. And I actually saw a highlight like Riley. He had missed all this.
He was through it.
Oh man, I'm seeing this now. And then hold on, people that are listening. I'm looking at this highlight. I'm trying to see, where did Noah Gregson come from? He was down. Oh yeah, he didn't have any steering because he hit the. In Riley's position, he actually, because I was looking at his in car, I was like, oh man, why didn't he just keep slowing down or like stop? But he tried everything he could to avoid it, but that was the unluckiest. You guys got to see this. When you're looking at the big one highlight, watch Riley on the apron, slowing down, chaos all around him, and then here comes someone down the track. It was just like Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott at Richmond.
Exactly.
Right?
Like everything in his, windshield is clear except for behind him where he gets clipped.
Oh yeah, cleaned out. Yeah,
cleaned out. Oh God, I bet he was so frustrated with that. That sucks. Never even had a chance, and he just, again, that takes out a third of the field, and so it's like, all right, chance of winning. When you start the race, if your chance of winning is 1%, 2%, whatever the odds say, boop, it's up to 8%, 9%. Like you continue to just try to increase your odds, and that sucked.
And for you, the worst part is the people that you were racing against were not involved in it.
Unscathed. I'm sitting on pit road. They're out there with a saw trying to cut something off the car. And I'm looking, I was like, damn, the 5's still out there. There's the 9. There's the 20. There's the 12. Well, of course. I mean, there were cars at the start of the wreck, behind the wreck. I'm right in the middle of it and got in it. So just that's the part of super speedway racing that it drives me crazy.
Yeah, your luck in this next gen car of super speedway races. Have you finished the super speedway race that you haven't been involved in a wreck?
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at one of those fantasy guys on X, like the results chart for myself at Daytona, and I was looking down. I was like, damn, where am I at? I'm like ranked 32nd or something. I'm like, oh, look at my finishes, 28, 33, 37, 38. Like, but I didn't cause any of those wrecks. Now, I might have caused the one in Atlanta this year, so I got to take credit for that one. I was part of that. Certainly the start of that wreck, I was a part of it, so I have to share some blame in that one. But Daytona, no. I'm just always right in the middle of right where it starts.
Is it more about luck in this? Like if this was the Gen 7 car, 6, what was the previous gen before this?
Well, you just had more space. And so skill, your driver's skill was more showcased, the best super speedway drivers. And at that time it was, I felt like myself and Brad and Joey and Ryan. There's a few of us, McDowell. There was just a handful that were like always in the front. We were always in the front. And it was, yes, we had fast cars, but we also knew how to work the draft and we knew how to get runs. And then once we took the runs, we knew how to keep that run going and then keep, weaving our way through the pack. Next gen is a little bit more log jammed where it's more track position based, which is why you see so much fuel saving is it's not really about passing as much as it is just track position. Now the end of the race here, this weekend, it played out to where, the best available super speedway racer ended up winning it. And he won it from 12th with just a couple laps to go. So he was able to showcase his skill and at the end of that race, which was good to see. And a lot of it is because they weren't lock jammed 2x2 or 3x3.
How much is it different with the cars pushing each other? Like Chevy's pushing forwards, and I forget which driver mentioned like it's harder to push a different model than it used to be.
Yeah, I think Larson mentioned that in his post race that when he was asked about kind of pushing Eric Jones there, did he thought that was fair or foul? And he was like, yeah, I don't know. It's like he's like, if I was driving a Ford, you just kind of lock on and those cars take off. Where he's saying that Chevys and Toyotas, the way to keep their line moving is to hit. Now, I think there's a balance there. Larson is one of those is very aggressive at the end of races with, if he has a run, he usually doesn't lift. No matter what speed you're going in front of him, he doesn't lift, so he'll hit you. So you got to be really ready, right? You got to be really ready on the wheel because it's just the closing rate of speed. Now, myself personally, I typically slow down right before I get there because I'd rather latch than hit. But to each his own. Everyone uses their own techniques to try to keep their lines moving. And that one just kind of got, I guess, the 43 out of shape. But again, Larson was just trying to keep his line moving and give whoever was in front of him a shot.
Have you watched the onboard of Blaney's last 2 laps? How was he able to maneuver from where he was to the lead?
Yeah, he was masterful in being patient. What I saw was he was very patient, and if you notice, he didn't make a whole lot of moves. He allowed others to make moves, and then he just held steady. He's like he knows who his help is. His spotter's doing a good job telling him who's behind him. At the time, I think it was the 99 that was pushing him. He seemed pretty committed to him, so he wasn't one of those guys weaving between lanes and all this other stuff. He just was very patient and saying, the top line is going to prevail here, so I'm going to stay in it. And as people start to get towards at the front, they're peeling off to block, and it's just moving him up the queue of that line. So at some point, he's probably, fifth on the outside line? Well, the leader just keeps pulling down. A new guy comes up front. He takes the lead. He pulls down. New guy. So he keeps moving up the queue as the laps go on. And so, and then on the last lap, just got the great push. He moved up. It was very timely and good heads up of him and his spotter to off of turn 4, move up in front of that top lane. Because it looked like at that time, was it Haley? Who was on the bottom?
Justin Haley.
Yeah. It looked like no, Cole Custer. Off of turn 4, I believe Cole Custer was to his inside. I thought he was going to have more help, but his help kind of died, and the top lane was coming, and Blaney was like, I'm going to go back to the well. And that's what got him pushed out to the front.
Is it a little misleading when they say he came back from 13th? But what, he's still impressive what he does. I don't want to take that away, but what row was he in though? Because 13 on a super speedway can very easily, depending on how it goes, be 5th. You see what I'm saying? How the cars are.
I see what you're saying, but I mean, you got to count cars and positions, right? Just because you're 2 and 3 wide. Yeah, 13th. Listen, 13th at Martinsville with 2 laps to go is, yes, very, very different than being at Daytona with 13th with 2 laps to go. Not only for distance, but time delta to the leader, right? While you're 13th, you're only actually a half a second, from the lead.
Yeah.
So it's not that big, but still you have to, as a driver, and where Blaney was impressive is using his skill set to know, push them out and then let them make a decision, and then I'll figure out whether that decision is the right one or not. And I might go with you and I might not. And so that's where I found I got, much better at super speedway racing, 10, 15 years ago, is that not necessarily having to be the one to make the move, but pushing someone else to make them make a choice, and then you have time to process whether that choice was right or not.
And they're desperate. They needed the win, so they feel like they got to make a move where he can just kind of wait it out.
And listen, we've been talking about kind of the playoff, the whole playoffs and the format. Ryan Blaney out here doing God's work. I mean, everyone he was racing was 30th in points.
No, that's what we wanted, though.
I know. It's for our argument. I wish that one of those guys would have won. I mean, how different would the narrative have been if Cole or Justin had won versus Blaney, right? I mean, we're talking about how great the racing was, and it was. You got to give, we're critical most times on this podcast, but we also got to give it its due when the racing was good. And at the end of that race, it was good racing. But it just, oh man, we were one more big underdog away from fans just going absolutely berserk.
So before we get into that maybe a little bit, I just sent 2 screenshots in our group text here, and these are 2 moments that to me stand out in this last lap. The first one here is after they take the white flag. Is Cole Custer gets pushed out, and then Blaney's clear, and instead of moving down a lane or moving down 2 lanes to the bottom of the track, he just stays put at the top there. What about that is what turned out to be the right decision, but what about that is correct?
Well, I just think sometimes when you get down to the bottom, you get pinned. There's nowhere else to go. When you've got the top lane, you usually have options. It's one of those things where a crew chief would tell you, if you told me when the cautions are coming, I'll tell you the exact perfect strategy. It worked out because of all the other things that happened. Yes, Blaney was patient and staying up in that top lane, but also Cole just kind of got out of his way too, because he was busy blocking the inside lane that was coming. So he just was committed to say, I'm staying up top, and if you want to go down there and block another lane that's coming, go ahead. I'll now move up the queue to be the leader of the top lane. So it worked out because of all the circumstances and all the other drives, all the other drivers and the moves that they made Blaney's decision the right one.
And it looks like
sense.
It looks like Cole got a massive lead too much too, and then probably was like, is the other lane getting a bigger run? If had he been stayed attached to Blaney, he probably would have not moved down.
Well, so what happens here through 1 and 2 is that these 3 lanes even out, and Blaney becomes no longer clear of the 5 and 7. But then going down the backstretch, the 7 gets way out there. Custer gets a run on him, dives to the bottom. Haley blocks it.
Yeah,
and
once they did that, both of them had lost serious momentum, and the 12 is just sitting there saying thank you. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So mistake on the 7 and 41?
Yeah, they, I mean, I get it. Everyone's trying to take. You just never know when another run is coming. But in the next gen card, there's usually another run coming. But yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to make the right decision for themselves. And surely, if they had to do it all over again, of course they would make a little bit different move here and there. But we don't have that. We don't have that ability.
Yeah, and then coming to the checkered flag here, Blaney slides up in front of Suarez, gets a little push from Suarez
because he knows Suarez got nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. If you look, Suarez is boxed in, so he has no choice but to push.
Yeah, and that little push gets him across the checkered flag first. Mm-hmm. Ryan Blaney saves the format.
He does. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. So Alex Bowman and Tyler Reddick now make it in. I mean, Reddick had to have a sigh of relief. First of all, he caused the first caution. The 2311 was 2 for 2 on causing the first couple of cautions. It just off of turn 4 there, looks like he got tight, got into the 34 or 38? 34. It's just not holding the lane. And it looked like, they're in big trouble. They're not, at that point, they know they got so much damage, they're not going to score any stage points. 48, is still up towards the front, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. This is how you cough it up right here. Luckily for them, 48 got in it. And then I can't imagine the stress that Alex is going through, sitting there knowing that like you control zero of your destiny right now. You're essentially a fan watching on TV, hoping somebody that has won before wins again.
Yeah, this range of emotions for Alex, because when Reddick wrecks, Alex is the car behind him. So here's the 45, the car you're racing, peel off the track, head straight for the inside wall. I mean, he must have been thrilled, but yeah. Then he's caught up in the next wreck.
I wish we would have had a camera on Bowman at the end.
I know. That would have been awesome. Maybe they have something internally.
Or he should have live tweeted or something.
No, they probably wouldn't have anything internally because, like, I'm thinking about it. If I was sitting in the hauler, right, and I see that, the odds are that I'm going to be knocked out, I probably, would I want a camera on me? Probably not, but, man, that would be great content, right?
For the sake.
Because he's sitting there probably just hand in head.
Was this a good super speedway race?
Yeah, I thought that the first wreck enabled it, and stage lengths. It was very fortunate, and cautions. There was a lot of factors that made it really good, to break it down simply, is stage 1 was not a fuel mileage stage, so we were all able to go full out all the way. We didn't need fuel to run stage 1, so everyone went hard, which is why we ended up wrecking. And then stage 2, I think there was another caution in stage 2 somewhere to where it then put everyone back in a fuel window again. So what you saw was a race that fuel mileage didn't play a huge factor in. And so that's what made it good. And then thinning the field out to 2/3 of what a full field was. That's why you saw, the good racing.
We look at the playoffs standings now. We've got Larson top of the board plus 26, Byron plus 26. You're at plus 23. You're the big loser here in this Daytona as Blaney jumps from 6th in points to 2nd and picks up that plus 10 bonus points. But how do you feel about your position here entering the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, that certainly is what's frustrating about Daytona and us slipping there is that, not only are you coughing up a point or two, but you're giving them to the guys that you're probably going to have to beat by a point or two, and so you gave up and gave to them. So it's a double banger for sure. I feel good about it. I mean, I feel as though the tracks are all good. We're at, more conventional ovals for the most part in the playoffs. You get one road course, one super speedway, which is fair. I feel good about it. I mean, if it's based off of speed, we're right there where we need to be. I don't foresee any issues for us to make it.
Last year, your mindset, you had Atlanta in the first round, and it was kind of like
I know.
survive and advance, and it felt like you were kind of passive on your heels in the first round last year. This year, I feel like it sets up better for you. Is it more kind of like go on the kill early, or?
But like, do you blame me?
I don't blame you, but
look at Atlanta. Like, yeah, last year I laid back because I thought there was going to be a big wreck. Because I've been in every fucking wreck. I've been in every next gen super speedway wreck, and it's driving me crazy. Where I went through 10 years where I'm up front in the Gen 6 car making moves, and like the wrecks are behind me because that's where the dummies are.
I don't disagree with your the strategy, but you started it off with that where it's different tracks this year. Is this one where you can be a little more aggressive?
Yeah.
How do you also balance that aggressiveness?
Yeah, I mean there's times to be aggressive, there's times to not, but you still want to stack up playoff points. Like, you're not done just because the playoffs start. You're not done stacking playoff points, if that makes any sense. So when you're really going to need them is in that round of 8, because you're going to get at least one car make it on points in the round of 8. So you want to be the guy that is performing well. And when you look at these St. Louis and Darlington and Bristol, these are typically tracks where you control your own destiny. Speed wins most times at these racetracks, which is what our strength is. So we would like to increase our playoff points to give us even more buffer when we get deeper in the playoffs.
Let's take out in the playoffs here. Let's take out the Roval and Talladega. Do you feel like you could win it every other track? The other
absolutely.
6?
Absolutely. Yes.
Gateway, New Hampshire.
Check.
I mean, to me, that's what it's going to be about. Is can you get a win or two here through the first
Right.
5? Darlington,
Mm-hmm.
Gateway, Bristol,
Yeah.
New Hampshire, Kansas.
My goals remain the same. I'd like to win a couple more races before the end of the season. Whenever they are, they are. If they advance me, they advance me. I'd like to win a couple more races. That's the goal. Let's get to 60 this year.
You got to feel good, though, is that looking at these playoff standings, there's 5 guys here at the top who are all championship 4 contenders, no doubt. But past that, the other guys you're racing, you have at least a 15-point advantage on, the Chase Elliott's, the Briscoes. So going in each round, you're going to get reset by at least 15 or so. Granted, they don't win a race in the round.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all fluid, and again, every 3 races, it's just we reset the scoreboard. So I don't know. Let's just win races. The playoffs are the playoffs. It's just we got 10 more. Let's keep going.
Who do you think gets eliminated?
Give me the tracks again.
We got Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol in the first round.
Darlington, Gateway, Bristol. I'll say Dylan, Barry, Cindric, and SVG.
SVG's 16 playoff points aren't going to be enough to sneak through this round.
Versus the guys like the Bowmans, Reddicks, Logano's, Chastain, Bubba. I think they all overtake just on speed. It's just, yeah. That I don't know if it's a wild prediction or not, but my first 4 out: SVG, Cindric, Barry, Dylan.
Yeah, unfortunately for SVG, I feel like for a guy who's fairly new to ovals, Darlington and Bristol are got to be 2 of the toughest tracks for that, right?
It will be. Yes. Definitely will be. It'll be a challenge. But, I mean, he earned, he's got 22, something like that, 22 actual bonus points. So he's not in a bad spot. All he needs is a few of these guys to have lackluster days, and he just somehow, he goes in there, finishes top 20, and he'll find himself in a decent spot going into that last cutoff race.
Yeah. Anything else on this Cup race or the playoff outlook?
Not really. I don't think so.
Connor Zilisch / Parker Kligerman win the Xfinity race.
Yeah, really happy for Parker, and it's just awesome for him to get that call from Dale Jr. And what I love about Dale Jr. and obviously the Xfinity Series is, if we're being honest, it's primarily made of buy your ride, drivers, and most even your top teams, have a handful of those on their roster. But Dale always seems to have one car that he's trying to give the other guys a shot, right? The local short track guys or whoever it might be, trying to give them opportunities to showcase their talent. So then maybe a sponsor, has interest in them. He did it with Josh Berry. I guess it was it Tire Pros or something like that latched on to Berry and kept him going. And the next thing he got a ride into Cup. So, Dale Jr.'s and Kelly are doing a great job at Junior Motorsports of, giving that stepping stone for those drivers. And, there's a balance. They got to run their business too. And so, you're going to have some pay on your roster and some that you feel like you can have on natural talent. But it's good to see, Parker get that call, because I think what Dale Jr. My point was it took a while to get there, was that he picked who he thought could win in that car at that track. He's like, I'm gonna go pick the best available driver, and that being Parker Kligerman at Daytona to replace Zilisch during the race. And so, and Parker is one of the better super speedway racers in the Xfinity Series that over the last few years. And a lot of people wonder, well, why doesn't obviously Parker is very, very good. Well, why doesn't he run Xfinity? Guys, this is a prime example of how broken this business model is. The guy makes more talking about the drivers than actually being a driver. That is the true system, and how broke it is that he could have a ride, but it doesn't pay anything. And he would be taking a massive pay cut by being a star in the Xfinity Series versus being an announcer for the Xfinity Series. That is the crux and the problem that will continue to hamper the best talent and the best opportunities making it in the Xfinity Series. And just because it's many of the rides are going to be taken up by pay guys, and there's just not going to be that many opportunities. You're going to need something like this where one of the top teams is like, okay, well, I'm going to be okay with 2 or 3 pay drivers, and then maybe I got one seat for whoever I actually want or whoever I actually think is pretty good. Man, it's a tough way to go. But
is there not to go off on a tangent here, but is there a fix to that in the Xfinity Series?
Well, they're just limited because whatever their cost is, obviously there's not nearly enough purse money or team money to support what it cost. It just they don't have their expenses covered, so that they got to either get it through sponsorship or drivers with sponsorship. So the team owners, it's just a tough thing for them to do. Do they want to survive or not? They're going to do whatever they have to do to survive. And to survive, you've got to, if you don't have a sponsor in your pocket that is willing to sponsor nobody until you tell them who to sponsor, you rely on the driver to bring that sponsor, or their family or whoever.
So you almost need the Cup Series or the highest level to help supplement the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, but even
in terms of money,
that has gone away. Like Penske got rid of their Cup program, and Hendrick used to have I guess they still have the 17 car. They're creeping back into it. I think Hendrick and Junior Motorsports obviously have a partnership there. I think Rick, owns a little portion of that. But I don't know. I just think the business model is going to continue to get harder and harder. And from what I'm hearing in the truck series, is that NASCAR is telling them, is what I've been told. This is a rumor. This is not, I don't know that this is factual, but it's a rumor that, they need them to go to spec trucks by 2028. How in the world are they going to be able to afford that? Everyone's going to scrap all their stuff. And it's going to happen in the Xfinity series as well. I mean, those guys are running on cars that are old. And it used to be passed down from the Cup series. And so the Cup teams could recoup a little bit of money from their investment from their Generation 6 cars and 5 cars, because they would just pass them down to Xfinity. And then Xfinity would be racing, 2, 3, 5-year-old Cup cars. Now, they're all having to keep building new stuff, right? And so that just really takes its toll on the teams. It drives up their cost. But, I mean, that's professional motorsports. I mean, there's enough money to go around. It's just not making it all the way to the teams. And unfortunately, they're the ones that are having to deal with this tough business environment.
Yeah, if the purse was higher, then Xfinity teams could go, you know what?
We want to hire who
will win.
Going to go win us that money. Absolutely.
Eric Estep had Steve O'Donnell on his show earlier this week, a 30-minute long-form conversation. And one of the takeaways from that conversation was discussing Cup drivers potentially running more Xfinity Series races, opening that up to more Cup drivers. Is there anything to take away from that? Is there a link to more Cup drivers running Xfinity Series races when it comes to this business model? Or, is there any crossover?
I don't know why there's a need for that. I think Ross Chastain is the only person that has run actually 5. That is an unnecessary rule change. I think that we've gotten used to seeing, I like seeing the Cup or the Xfinity regulars going down there and competing against themselves. And yeah, you get every now and then a Cup driver that goes in there and they kind of set a bar. And it also lets you evaluate the Xfinity talent that's in there. But opening it back up, I don't know what that, someone's going to have to explain to me that. What is the reason behind it?
It's fixing something that's not broken.
Correct. The Xfinity ratings are fine. What my question is, what are we doing? What is that solving?
If there was like 10 drivers that are racing 5 a year and wanted more, then I could, there's a reason for a change, but Ross is the only one.
It's not something I think that moves our sport forward. I don't think so.
Speaking of Cup drivers going down and racing Xfinity, has there been any dialogue between you and JGR about next year you racing Super Speedway?
Man, I told you I'd love to. Obviously, we let this one slip, but they need to find a sponsor. Listen, that tells you if JGR had the opportunity to put me in a Xfinity car, don't you think they would do it? But they got to go find a sponsor for it. They can't afford to just put me in a car. That's what's crazy.
Why waste our time trying to put Denny in an Xfinity car when we can just try to find that sponsor for the Cup car, right?
That, and would you rather have me and get 0 or someone else who probably won't run as good and they bring you 150 or I don't know, 200 grand. I don't know what the number is. And they'll bring you that per race. I mean, I know what I'm doing as a team owner if that's the model. It's like, well, winning doesn't mean that much to me. So you got to find a sponsor. Anybody wants to sponsor me in the Xfinity Daytona race? Call up JGR. They have a sales department there. I just want to run one. That's it. I'm in envy of how the Xfinity cars draft. I love the spacing between the cars and how you can make moves. I want to do it just one more time.
Is Seabell running the Xfinity car for Sport Clips this weekend? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Yeah, usually Darlington is my one, but just...
You're tired. For now.
I won my last one, but I've retired for now, unless I can get a ride at Daytona.
Some off-track news? Anything else on track?
No.
Zilisch, right? I mean, officially going to Trackhouse.
Breaking news.
Right.
Breaking news. Yeah, really, happy for him, and certainly, it's tough to say earned his keep in the Xfinity Series, but he's proving that, what would another year do in Xfinity? I'm not sure. Just win a lot more races.
Would that have been different, or your thought have been different had it been pre-next gen car to stay in Xfinity for 1 year, but with the cars being so different?
Yeah, maybe. That's a good point. When the cars are more similar, it kind of gets you ready for that. But they are so different that you want to try to get as much seat time as quick as possible, I think. And he's young enough; he's going to be able to absorb all that. And again, this is not going to be. It's not going to be easy road. I do think the step up in competition is going to be big. Will his best shot to win come at a road course? Yes, absolutely. I think he'll run his Trackhouse cars can run. I think that he can run as equal or maybe even a little better than SVG on the ovals. I don't know. It'll be close. SVG's making pretty good strides. So I don't know. I don't know how Zilisch is going to do on an oval and cup, but talk to all the guys that have won 6-8 races over the last decade that, when they stepped into cup, Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe, remember, they just dominated. Austin Cindric just dominated. And then they crossed that fence onto Sunday, and it was like, whoa, these guys are really good, and they are good. So I think no doubt about it, he's a generational franchise type driver, but we all need to be patient with it and let him develop. He's really young, and he'll be in the sport a long time.
It's a busy week for you this week off the track. You got your annual Pro-Am Jam tomorrow night into Tuesday. NASCAR's got their playoff media day down in Charlotte on Wednesday, and then I guess we'll have an official ruling on this injunction come Thursday.
No, that probably won't happen until next week. The hearing is this week.
The hearing is this week. So we won't know anything till next week.
Yeah. It'll be a very entertaining week. Stay tuned to your social channels.
And then potentially we could see you in a new uniform come Thursday night.
I don't believe it. Are they just messing with me?
For those listening in the Hoop group, there's some rumors going around.
My
Nothing's
team's
official.
0-3. Oh, average shows we're 0-3. We kept it close. We actually were leading for most of the game. It just
I've got sources
ran out
that
of gas.
there are discussions of trades.
Well, someone needs to let me know because I need to make my plans for Thursday because I'm supposed to have a bye this week.
Well,
So am I playing or am I not?
I mean,
Someone tell me.
you could probably use a week off.
Anyway, Denny could go from an 0-3 average Joe's to a 3-0 team, potentially.
Oh, well, there's only a few of those. I got to look at the standings
And
and
I
I see where my options are.
And I think the championship's already been decided.
And oh, really?
Yeah. The season's, we put an asterisk on this year.
Yeah, some breaking news. The number 1 overall draft pick blew his ACL.
We think
Charlie.
partial MCL.
Yeah, Charlie went down on Thursday night, cut into the basket. I don't know. I hate to say that it was a matter of time, but as much as he shifty as he is, and I mean he's no spring chicken. These things are bound to happen if you play enough, and so unfortunately for him, he's going to be on the shelf for quite a while. I think he says his fishing career is now going to be full time for him.
Yeah, we're supposed to be going to the Ohio State game this week, and I'm trying to see if he's going to be able to make it. He doesn't have his knee brace yet.
I've got plenty of knee braces. Wonder for the same size.
Give him a call. The brace isn't there
I've blown
yet.
both my ACLs, so I know all about it. Yeah, that's a bummer. So it is opening week. Trav, can we get a wellness check on you?
How
do we feel? Ohio State, Texas, Saturday. You get the big noon kickoff again on Fox. I know you love it.
We're good right now. We rewatched all the playoff games this past couple days. They were
You did?
Yeah, they were airing on ESPNU, so we watched them. We recorded them. We'll delete them tomorrow. We're moving on. Not nervous yet.
So can I ask?
Yeah.
When you're going back and you're rewatching last year's playoff games, what are you looking for? Are you just reliving the moment?
Just that rush. It's just because then you can watch it without stress.
So when you watch a play, do you remember what happens next? You're like, oh, I know what happens on the next play.
For the most part, yes. There's a few plays where I'm like, oh, I forgot about that, or like I rewatched the Tennessee game. I forgot that we got stopped on the first possession, but they had a penalty, and so it gave us first down. Then we go down and score, and it was over.
Travis, give me like a 30-second scouting report on this game. All I know is Texas, Arch Manning. That's all I got.
It's going to come down to which quarterback is ready for the moment.
Can you give me a background on where our quarterback has come from?
So Julian Sayin is from Carlsbad, California, committed to Alabama, 5-star. Then Saban retired, and so then like 2 weeks later hit the portal and
Wait a minute.
transferred.
So he's been in college football for a few years
No,
now?
he was a freshman last year. He signed.
Last year was first year Saban was out?
Yeah.
Wow.
So this kid has not played a down.
He's had a few, but nothing meaningful. Going up against an elite top 3 defense.
But they're in your house
Correct.
at the shoe.
It'll be loud, even if it's noon.
I can close my eyes and picture myself sitting right next to you. And when the first play, and you're like, come on, come on, just going crazy.
Or when I went off on that ref. So we're putting the band back together, minus one person.
I want to go so bad. But, dude, they got us on track at like freaking 9
a.m.
I was going to go on Friday. My goal was to go Friday, tailgate, go out with you guys, and then send you off. And I was going to leave Saturday morning to go to the racetrack and go to work. But I can't. It's just too freaking early.
Yeah. So,
man, if this was a normal, I feel like this noon kickoff for this is dumb, right? This should be like
Ohio State's the king of it.
It's Fox, man. It's not us.
They put Ohio State, the redheaded stepchild. They get the noon kickoff.
We're the
games.
cash cow.
And move it back. You'd be there.
So yeah, Nate, Charlie, and I are going up.
Man. All right. Well, good luck, Buckeyes. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. I just don't know. I don't know the players enough. Like I felt like after I came to the first game, watched the second game, I felt like, okay, I know the strengths, I know the roster now, but this, I feel like we got a whole new cast of characters.
Jeremiah
We
Smith
still got
there.
Jeremiah Smith though.
And Caleb Downs is still there on defense.
So, all right. Well, we'll see. If for some reason you lose the first, it's still okay, right?
Denny.
Sorry.
No, but I'm asking from someone who knows nothing about college football. If you lose the first game to the what is Ohio State won?
No, Texas is one.
You can win out and still be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck. I'm going to go down there. Someone's got to earn a living for us down in Florence, South Carolina.
Would you be if Ohio State is to lose, Travis? Will you be back on the Twitter Sunday night, or would you be out for a few days?
Oh, my God. I bet you were going to tweet up a freaking storm.
No, because I'll be at the game.
Oh, you'll be at the game. You'll still do it during timeouts. Yes, you will.
You saw what I was like at the games. I'm not on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm gonna need.
Hey, do y'all have service at the shoe?
Yes.
I don't understand these freaking tracks, man. Why do we have no service?
Because they don't pay for it. Like
I
Ohio
mean,
State, I don't know if you remember it. Like,
How are people supposed to share their experiences if you got no signal?
each section at Ohio State, there was like a little thing to help for.
When people show up on Sunday, Saturday it's usually okay because it's not full. But God dang it, these tracks, what are they doing? You can't share your experiences because you got no freaking cell service.
Reporters are like,
I know. We're like, hey, we're heading to the media center, but we got no service there.
Matt Weaver posted, he was like, a tweet finally went out. He's like, sorry, this was supposed to go out last night or something. Like,
Put the pylons back up.
It's as if we were stuck in 1993.
Put the pylons back up, and they should double as cell towers.
Speaking of back in 93, you know what the discussion on the plane, I know people listening, we're off on a tangent here. This is an interesting one. You know what the subject was on the plane ride home?
oh, Lord can only guess with the people that were on that flight.
Did we really land on the moon or not?
Jesus.
Here's the best part.
This is AP.
Here's the best part.
We had Alex Presley, Austin, Jared, my mom.
So no AP with us.
And your brother-in-law.
Austin.
Oh.
Sorry, and Josh Neely. Yep. And there were 3 that were definitely we did not. They're like, listen, you're telling me they live streamed back in 1960 something that we were
70s.
on the moon and everyone got to see it on TV? He's like, come on, no way. We didn't. There's no way we had the technology to do that, and we haven't been back since. And I'm like, and I went into this thinking, yeah, of course we landed on the moon. I saw it, and they're like, total sham. And they had me convinced that no. He's like, look. He's like, I'm telling you got to deep dive into this. He's like, apparently we lost the technology to get back. I'm like, lost the technology? It's been, what is that? 60, 70 years, 60 years ago. I am finding it hard to believe. I mean, if you have DirecTV and you have a cloud go by, you lose signal. And yet we had a perfect live stream back in 1960 of the communication between this guy on the moon and us back on Earth. I'm starting to be skeptical as well.
My 2 takeaways from this conversation, Travis, were 1, when we got to the plane, it was still, the mood was still somber. We were not happy about the way
this was
the
a
race
fly home.
went. Yeah, it just wasn't great. But then we started talking about the moon landing, and everyone's chipper. Yeah, it got Denny's attention. But then second, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people on the plane. The 5 people arguing about the moon landing are the only 5 people who weren't alive during the moon landing. Mom's sleeping, had to wake her up. Hey, Mary Lou, these kids back here that were born post 1969.
Alex felt very, I mean, he was like, no, I've done all the research on this. I'm telling you, we did not land on the moon. And he had me pretty convinced. I'm like, all right, I'm now 50-50 on whether we really did or not.
Listen, I took field trips as a kid to the Neil Armstrong Museum town over, so I'm pro moon landing.
Okay.
I'm pro moon landing. For the record, Denny and I are pro moon landing.
Yes, don't come.
I was 100%. I'm waning on that a little bit. Anyway, well, we digress. Anything else?
I got a review here from Send It from YouTube. Denny is officially addicted to fishing, and I love it. Here's a tip for you. Try a drop shot rig in the lake.
Drop shot.
It's got deeper shots. The fish are deep this time of year. And tell Truex to get you out tuna fishing.
What's my rig? I'm a drop shot guy.
No, yeah,
I love. Yes, absolutely. Most everything I've caught is on the drop shot. Yes, they do go deep. I understand. I get it. But even the pro says you're getting unlucky. Sometimes they don't bite, and then sometimes you just drag your line in the water like Bubba, and one happens to jump on. So it's just. Law of averages. Got to ride this out. He says, "Man, you got some nice equipment, though." I said, "Yes, sir. I dress like I'm Scratch, even though I'm a 20 handicap."
That's all I got.
All right. Well, see you after Darlington, folks.
Check out Dirty Mo Media on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok.